Hey guys, it's Alice. So today I thought I would show you how to cartoon yourself in Procreate. As you guys will know, this is not me. I pinched a photo from G's Instagram. She's beautiful and her photos are really good quality. So you want to make sure you've got a photo of yourself that's bright and good quality and that you really like. What we're going to do is we're going to bring it into Procreate, and I'm using the ink pen tool, and all you need to do, and this is where you don't need to be able to draw at all, it's amazing, is basically trace it. So what I'm doing is kind of adjusting the pen size to suit, and I'm going to trace it. And don't worry that the lines won't be completely the same thickness. That kind of adds to the effect of the cartoon style. You can do it quite boxy, you don't have to be completely neat. So I am going to fast forward through quite a lot of this tutorial because it is kind of repetitive, but if you do have any questions or anything that I missed, let me know down in the comments below. And also I'll be putting this tutorial up on my website once my website is ready, so if you aren't already subscribed to my mailing list, I'll leave the link in the top line of my description and you can subscribe. Over there you'll get some freebies and everything that you'll need to create things like this. So yeah, subscribe to that, and then once my website is live you will know and be the first to grab your freebies. So yeah, I'm just kind of outlining her face, and then I decided to do some little accents on the jumper. The eyebrows gave me so much trouble, and I feel like this is kind of mirroring real life because eyebrows in real life are really annoying to get the hang of. So doing this was frustrating me, and you'll see later on in the video that I ended up changing them again. But again, I'm just outlining them, trying to do smooth, sleek strokes, and then again I'm going down to the nose, just getting the accents. I think less is more with these drawings, which is what I've learned. So try not to add too many accents because it does end up looking like you've got like a wrinkly model or something. But yeah, outlining the lips and just going back to the eyes. I'm just going to do one line for the eyelid, and then I'm tracing the eye shape. I do go back later on and make like the top lid a little bit thicker because of the eyeliner. And then I'm doing a little accent under the eyes. I tried a little like dimple line and a chin line, but it didn't look right. So it's all about experimentation. It depends on what model you have. And then unfortunately I had some fingers to draw. So I'm not the best at fingers. Fingers and hands are hard to draw. So we'll just kind of ignore that. So now I'm doing a little box around the outside. You can kind of leave this blank if you want, but I decided to kind of make a little statement, like pretend it was like a Polaroid photo, let's say. So I'm using this shape tool, and you basically draw a very rough looking rectangle, hold it down, and then the new version of Procreate actually creates a solid shape. So I just did that and kind of leveled it all out. So I'm just checking my lines now. I am a bit of a perfectionist, so I do like to go back in and fix things sometimes. So here I'm just doing the eyes. It takes me a lot of goes to kind of get the shape I like. I draw and undo quite a lot and then turn off the image to check it, and then I'm doing the eyeliner. So the lines look really weird by themselves. What you also need to do for this process is to ensure that all the lines connect. So make sure they all touch each other. So I just went round and did that, and then I'm doing some eyelashes. I'm exaggerating them. G has gorgeous eyelashes anyway, but I'm going to make them a bit bigger than what they are, as it's a cartoon, you know? So now I'm doing the kind of the dimension of the hair. So as you can see, the top of it is kind of darker, and then the bottom is like a baby blue lilac kind of shade. So I'm just doing a very rough version, cartoon style, of the roots. And again, I'm going through the lines and just rubbing out any mistakes and things that I don't like the look of. You don't have to do this. I'm just, like I said, a bit of a perfectionist. So once I've got the rough outline, I'm going to turn the picture back on, and what I'm going to do is create a new layer. So up here, new layer, and drag it underneath the ink lines. Then I'm clicking the ink line layer and making it a reference layer. This is a new trick that I've learned and it's amazing. So what I'm going to do is select the colour I want, kind of like a mid-tone blue, by pressing and holding, and then I'm going to drag the colour swatch over the bit of hair and it's going to fill it in. And I'm just doing that with the two blues, and then you'll see in a second I'm going to do the darker bits, and because it's referencing the ink lines above, it's going to like mirror the shape exactly, which is saving me so much time recently. I'm so excited that I found this tool. So now I'm just going to do some different shadows and dimensions and strands of hair. So I'm just using the same ink pen tool, and I've picked up a darker shade from the original image, and I'm just going to do some lines as and when I find them. You'll see that I'll switch back to the image to just check where the shadows are. You don't have to be precise. It's only you that's going to notice if they're a bit off. So yeah, just play along with it and see what you come up with. And then similar kind of process, I'm picking up a lighter colour and I'm going to do some more depth of field lines. Is that what we can call them? Probably not. So yeah, I'm going to do some more lines in a different shade, and then I go back in with a lighter shade and so on. Don't forget with this pen as well, you can vary how much pressure you put on the pen, which changes the thickness. So for these black lines here, I'm kind of adding a bit more dimension to the root area. If I press harder, the line gets thicker, and if I press less, the line gets thinner. So I kind of use this to my advantage for these ones, so the lines kind of taper off at the end, and then I coloured in the middle section so it all blended together. And then I'm just doing some kind of accent lines. Obviously her hair didn't have black streaks in it, but because it's a cartoon, I decided to add some additional little things. Now I'm doing the lips, so same principle, I'm adding a new layer underneath the ink layer, selecting the colour of her lips and dragging it over, and because the ink layer is a reference layer, it means it is kind of filling with reference to the top layer. And again with the eyebrows, selecting the colour, dragging it in. These eyebrows honestly gave me so much hassle. Stupid eyebrows. And now I'm going to use the airbrush tool. So this is one of my favourite pens, I guess, and this and the smudge tool. So I've got an airbrush brush up, and I'm making the layer of the lips and eyebrows an alpha lock layer. So what this does is it means I cannot go outside the lines effectively. So it's kind of hard to tell now, but I'm using a darker shade to kind of add a little bit of a gradient to the eyebrows. And then again, if you look now, you'll see that the eyebrows are darkening up, but it's not going on the skin or outside any of the lines because it's an alpha lock layer. Same again with the lips. I'm using the airbrush tool and a darker shade of purple. I'll mix it up between a dark shade, and then for the highlight bit I'll pick up a lighter shade, and then I'll use the little smudge tool, which is what I'm using now, which is a little icon shaped like a finger at the top, and I just kind of smudge it out to blend it all together. I honestly love that tool. Then decided to go back to the eyebrows. This is kind of a common theme throughout this video. I just couldn't work them out until the very end. And now I've decided to do the skin. So I've created a new layer again, so the skin has its own separate layer in the list. There I am, creating a new layer, dragging the skin colour over, and I've also made this an alpha lock layer so it doesn't go outside the lines. And I'm just picking up skin colour from the photo, the original image, and adding shadow just where the shadows kind of naturally fall. You'll see that I flick between the image and the drawing quite a lot just to kind of gauge where the skin gets a bit darker. This does take practice, and I'm not perfect at it, but you know, I'm getting there. So yeah, I did a few different shadows. I'm using the finger smudgy tool again and just kind of working as I go. So I forgot to do the nose shadow, which is very important. It looked like her nose was flat. So I did that, smudged that out, and then kind of had the base idea for the shadows. I also need to do highlights on this, so I will be putting a lighter colour on the top of the cheekbones, under the eyebrows, on the chin, on the nose, to kind of match up with G's existing highlight and the kind of natural light where your light would fall anyway without makeup on. I'm honestly talking nonsense. Okay, so forehead, nose, under the eyebrows, top of the cupid's bow, smudge it all in with the finger smudgy tool. There we go. Bob's your uncle. Then I realised she looked very, very pale, so I went back in with some darker shades. G has a gorgeous tan, so I mean, very jealous for one, but I went back in with a kind of orangey skin tone colour and smudged that all out, kind of went around the forehead and got the shadows all sorted. The bigger the brush, the better, by the way. It creates a softer kind of transition. Now for some blush. So I picked up the blush from the original image and put it on her cheeks and smudged it out. Once again with the smudge tool. Honestly, I'm like a broken record. The smudge tool and the airbrush tool are going to be your best friends. Right, so now I believe I'm about to do the eyeshadow. So for this, I created a new layer again and I picked up the colour of the eyeshadow. Because G is an amazing eyeshadow, there was many colours, so I picked it up and kind of gradiented it down and used, you'll never guess, the airbrush and the smudge tool. Then I realised I was making her eyes look terribly creepy, so I filled in the whites of her eyes with the same process as before, new layer, and just drag over a white colour to fill it in, and then I did the coloured parts of her eyeballs. What is that, like pupil? No, the pupil's the black bit, isn't it? What's the coloured bit? I swear I did good in science at school. Anyway, moving on, I'm doing some highlights on the eyes now. So this is just where the light kind of catches in the eyes. I'm just doing a big dot and two little ones. You can use squares, you can use whatever shape you like really, just to add a bit of life. And now because it's a cartoon drawing, I'm adding a very, very exaggerated highlight. Obviously G didn't have lines of white on her face, but for the purpose of the cartoon, I've just kind of added them where the light would fall, and then also added a few streaks to her hair, and I think I did a couple on the jumper as well. Now if you've got an eagle eye, you'll realise I've only done one eye worth of eyeshadow, so what I'm going to do is duplicate the one I have on the left, then I flip it and drag it over, and there you go, I've done the other eye. This is a cheats way of doing it, but I mean, if your face is pretty much symmetrical, you can get away with it. I'm just lining it up, and then there's a little bit going onto the hair, so I've just grabbed the eraser tool and I'm gonna get rid of that. So I just saved myself some time there. Now I'm just going to add some eyeshadow underneath her eyes. So again, the airbrush tool, what a surprise, and I'm just going to smudge this out with the smudge tool and just kind of delicately go around with the eyes. Then I realised she had kind of like a highlight colour inside, so I've picked this from the original image and I just kind of painted it in. Those of you who are any good at makeup, which I can't say I am, will know exactly why she's done this, and I think it made such a difference when I realised this was there and kind of painted it on. It just brightened her eyes up quite a lot. So now I'm just doing the jumper, just use a grey colour, same principle as before, create a new layer underneath, paint it in, use the airbrush and then smudge. And then I actually used a different tool as well. I used a texture tool in the cotton one, which is just a generic one that came with Procreate, just to add a bit of texture, because obviously the jumper had texture. So now I'm going back in with the airbrush tool and I'm adding a little bit of black to the kind of eyelid area, just because G's lashes were quite full and I didn't want to draw them in with a pen tool, so I decided to use it as like eyeshadow, and I think this finished it off really, really well. Can you tell I'm really proud of myself for this drawing? I've never done a drawing this style before, but I'm very, very happy with it, and I'd definitely do more if you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you do. Give this video a thumbs up and comment down below if you'd like me to do more of these. So now I'm just doing the neck, same principle, and I realised I'd missed out a line in the initial sketch, so I went back to it, turned it off as a reference point, and then kind of adjusted it, because her neck looked very wide before I did this, so I just filled that in black and then went back to it with the shadows, and you know what by now. I don't know why I'm still sat here talking you through this. And now I'm just colouring in the background. As you can see, I went for a mint green kind of colour, and then I decided to do little halos and accents. I actually got this idea from Holly Pixels, who is a Procreate pro, and she did a style like this which totally inspired me, so I cannot claim credit for this style of drawing at all. Definitely check Holly out if you're into Procreate, but I just added these little halos and like got rid of the back part so it looked like it was going around her head. And then I decided to add some little love hearts And then I added another little background element. So I used the shape tool. I drew a very, very rough looking rectangle, held onto it and filled it in with like a darker mint green, just to add a bit of texture and dimension. I changed the background colour, added a scribble because why not? It was all kind of experimentation at this point. I'd not really planned what this drawing was going to end up like, but I actually really, really like the finished product. So I guess that kind of shows you that's what art is all about, just kind of experimenting and expressing yourself. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do give it a thumbs up if you did, and I'll see you soon for another one.